like, before you start the list, you want to kind of like inspect your item. Check out the fabric content. Of course, we could call this a navy flower dress, or we could call it a periwinkle dress with blue and orange accents. So the more description you provide, the easier it is for your seller to, kind of determine A, what you're selling, and B, whether this is something that they're interested in or not. Now this is skater dress. So just to kind of spitball, like what's one of the things that would jump out for you to describe this?
I'd say a slight flare.
Okay.
Yeah.
And someone else who's fairly new.
Flowers.
Yeah, flowers. This typically would be considered a skater dress.
Yeah.
In inspecting it, I realized that it has a lining. Instead of saying purple or blue, I like periwinkle. It just kind of enhances the edge to it. One of the things you don't want to do is stick with things like pretty black dress, nice purple stilettos. The more description you provide, the better you make your item look. Now this, of course, you want to include in the header the label, the designer. This is J. Crew. That's something that you would also consider in pricing it. The label, the designer, the age, whether it's vintage, whether it's current, whether it's currently retailing, whether it's new with tags. And new with tags doesn't mean the Jomar tag. It means the retailer's tag. And you want to be honest about it. Something like this, I don't know if it's been worn before, but I know that it's in excellent use condition. So that's something that I would include in my listing. Always inspect for flaws. If this had a run in the fabric, you want to list that, and you want to take a picture of it to make sure that they know what they're getting, because you don't want your buyers to feel like you're getting over or trying to get over. It has a rounded neck, it's sleeveless. You could say large floral print. Now, once you kind of have an idea of your description, you're going to take your pictures, and the pictures are what is going to draw your customers in. So if this was, say all of this was in the background, and you took the picture with that, now your attention is not focused on the item itself, it's focused on everything going around it. So a solid background, ideally a white background. You want to be well lit, and there's not a lot of shadows. You want to make sure that if you're using flash, it's not taking away from the true integrity of the item that you're selling. Because sometimes, flash will wash something out, or it'll, with black especially, you can't really see a pocket, or you can't see the ribbing, or you can't see the pinstripe. So sometimes, if this is a large enough print where I could say, large full print, and the person will see it and know. If it were smaller and a little more intricate, maybe you take a picture of the entire item, and then you get a close-up so that they can see the actual pattern itself. When you're doing your filters or adjustments for quality, again, maintain the quality of the integrity of the item that you're selling. But sometimes, all cameras and phones aren't created the same. So sometimes, no matter how much you try, when you look at this and when you look at the picture you've taken, it's not going to be identical. That's when I go a step further and say, okay, it's more, it may show a little light blue in the picture, but it's true periwinkle, because that gives a person, an opportunity to see what it is. Now, you don't want to leave out stuff like zipper in the back. It has a zipper closure in the back with the hook and eye grommet. Measurements. I think I said earlier, I resisted doing it. Save yourself the trouble and the hassle, because if you don't list them now, somebody's going to ask you to do it. And then you're going to have to dig in your pile of all your inventory and find that thing and do it anyway. If you can stage it, sometimes I stage with accessories like shoes or jewelry. It's not an absolute, but it does. It's another thing that you can do to enhance the picture for your products. Something as simple as this. Jomar sells fabric. Something that has, a glittery pattern, something that can kind of, show that you made an effort. Because you can do this, but what does that look like? If I took a picture with it just like this, it's still a decent shirt, but nobody's going to care enough to stick around to inquire about it because it's not well placed. This is why a lot of retailers, when you see their stock photos, they have that wall in the background. And they they eliminate all the distraction because they want you to focus on the item. Anybody have any questions?
I do. So you see how the way it's sewn isn't like all just one thing? How would you describe that? Or would that be something you describe?
Well, these are darts.
Not the darts, but like at the bottom, like
Oh,
how
it
the
could be,
skirt
a
is.
subtle ruffle.
Okay.
Subtle ruffle hem. It doesn't really have a high-low effect. I didn't notice this part at first, but you see, good eye, because that's something you would include because it offers, it's like skater with a little more flair.
Yeah.
Skater dresses tend to be a little more circular. This would kind of have more of a swing to it. That's something you can include in your description as well.
I would maybe say J. Crew, periwinkle J. Crew skater dress with subtle flair.
Okay.
And there goes your description.
Okay.
And then when you go like your title, your description is really an extension of your title because I think they only give you
A certain amount,
30-something
yeah.
characters. You have very limited characters in your title, but the header is super important. So like the most important stuff, like the J. Crew part, the
Skater
dress
dress.
part,
Periwinkle.
yeah, like those things absolutely go in. And then you, in your description, you can kind of enhance it with, fun language. Some people, I know Ebony and I sometimes, will, this dress gives me life. Some people add their personality to their description. It's not absolutely necessary, but you want to consider that, like, the more you sell, the more you're branding yourself. And people kind of get to know you through your closet. So, you don't have to necessarily mimic anybody else's thing. Just find your aesthetic, kind of set your standard in terms of what you like and what you don't like, and it'll build out from there.
I have a question. Should we put the size in the title, or should we put that?
Besides, they'll have a section for size to indicate that, but you want to include your measurements in your description. Always include, bust measurement,
No,
it's
you're
fit.
fine.
Usually, I will just say from shoulder to hem if it's a one piece. That usually suffices. Waist for something like this, I would definitely include. Sometimes if it's an A-line dress or a sheath dress, it's pretty much straight up and down. Like, I cheat a little bit, but you can you'll be able to discern as you go the people who just want measurements for the sake of conversation and the people who are really looking to get it to determine.
Can I add in a little cheat sheet for measurements? Some people aren't that savvy on the measuring tape, and you'll get used to it as you sell. But for something like J. Crew, most of the items are going to be the same size. So get the size chart and just cut and paste that into the listing. For something like
For
J.
your
Crew,
more
Gap,
popular
things of that nature. Yes.
So just go on their website and take their size?
Take their size chart,
You can screenshot their size chart.
add it into the listing.
I think I think they'll do bust, waist, hip. They won't do length.
Yeah.
So just to save yourself the trouble, because again, that was my thing. I am not taking measurements.
Mhm.
And you know what size jeans you wear, you know what size jeans you wear, and it got me every time. So, especially for like just beginning, just plan, like that's a part of your listing. Take measure. Don't use the Home Depot.
That is beautiful. I like it. I was just
And
about
don't
to
be
ask
afraid
you.
to.
Let me see. Can I get it?
If it's,
That is.
tenth of an inch or something like that, you don't have to be super specific,
Oh.
but don't be afraid to say, approximately 32 inches. Now, we're not gonna say approximately 32 inches, almost 36 inches. But if it's 32 point
We're just
something,
gonna
you
call it
can,
a skirt. It's a
you know,
skirt.
you can
No,
get
it's not a
those
skirt. Can we put this aside and we're gonna play a game?
Okay.
Let's call. How can someone figure out what that is?
I'm trying. I want to get it.
It's beautiful.
Oh, absolutely. On the inside.
Inside of dresses,
Absolutely.
inside of pockets.
Absolutely.
You'd be surprised
Always check
what you can
pockets,
find.
one, because you can find money in pockets.
Mm-hmm.
And purses, so always check pockets. But flip it inside out, because people, imagine going to put your arm in this to get dressed and there's a hole in the lining, and now you've torn through it. Part of the sourcing for us, we shop and then we edit.
Right.
So part of my editing is not just what I want to take home with me to sell. It's also, okay, does this zipper go up and down? If this is white, how intense is the stain on this item?
Right.
Is it worth my time, effort to try to get it out? There's a lot of ways to get stains out, but you don't want to. You're already spending time listing, sourcing, and doing that. You don't want to make your job any harder, than it has to be. So sometimes those items are going to get passed up on. And if the lining in this is ripped, so let's say, arbitrarily speaking, we list this for $35. Well, if it has a big gouge in it, you can't sell it. And now when you talk about your commission, 20% of that is gone. So, always keep those things in mind.
I just wanted to say, like, if there's a flaw or something that's really bad, and sometimes, like the person may want to, like I put on there as is.
Well, as is, but you also want to indicate.
Yeah, I do indicate. I always indicate.
Yeah, if you indicate the flaw, I know, I think we've all kind of sold something that wasn't in
Right,
pristine condition.
exactly.
But I think on the buyer side, the thing that's frustrating is when, if you tell me that it has a hole,
Right,
and you say it's a small hole in the dress, and you haven't taken a picture of where the hole is.
right. That's what you have to take.
And then I get it, and the hole is this big, as opposed to
Right.
me thinking, because
Right.
these things are subjective.
Right.
And that's another thing that we want to be mindful of. My small, you and I might be a size small, but we're built different. So if someone, inquires about an item and they say, oh, well, I'm a small, do you think this will fit me? One, refer them to your measurements, because you should have taken them already. But two, be mindful of saying, oh, it fits me. This person could be bustier, not as busty, curvier, straight up and down. So, that's sort of like, avoid that subjective kind of description, because that leaves you open for somebody getting it and saying, well, you said it would fit me. You said you're a small too, and I'm a small. Now, thankfully, Poshmark doesn't refund or fit. But usually when people aren't happy with their purchase, they'll do other things to your items to justify sending it back. And who wants to lose for that?
Did you just not?
Any more questions?
I was just about to say.
I take pictures of my measurements, so I put that in my listing. I don't put it in my description. I just take the pictures.
That's an option too.
Yeah, y'all can really see it. Because I can make a typo when you put 26 and 23.
I've done that.
So I'll just take the picture. I can't go wrong.
Going back to what you were saying about how buyers can be kind of vicious, we have a Pasha. What's your name again?
Linda.
Linda, can you tell them your story?
Okay, I posted a Fendi bag, okay, and the Fendi bag, I took the pictures of the Fendi bag. I'm very particular about how I send things out, how they smell, if they smell, or, I'm from a smoke-free home, no pets and all that stuff like that, which I don't normally put. But me as myself, I'm very, very particular of what I send out. I have a problem if I send out something and I say as is, that's how I am. But I sent a Fendi bag out, and I took the pictures. So I didn't take the picture of, but you still see the angle of the bottom of the handbag, which I knew there wasn't a spot on it, okay? I knew that the leather, however my picture was taken, I take pictures of that problem area so that you can see it. So I put on there that, it had where, I'm just saying, I can't remember verbatim. So the customer sent it back, or wanted to send it back. They put a case against it, okay? So I was frustrated with the case, because you don't want something that you taking your time to take the pictures, source for it, knowing that there isn't, the flaws that this person is saying, and they're showing it. So that person won. So I'm upset.
No, is it something that went through Poshmark
Yes, it did.
authentication?
No, it didn't go through Poshmark
It didn't go through Poshmark authentication.
No, but
Okay.
it is.
Okay.
Can I say something? One thing, I swear at this point, I am just about a pro when it comes to cases. I get a case every week. And I'm okay with that, because that shows that I have value. That shows that I'm consistently selling. And from learning from these cases, I've basically learned from my mistakes. So there are times when, we all know that you cannot return an item to Poshmark because of fit. Well, buyers are finding ways that they can get around that. So they may be dishonest and they may try to damage your item. So for things like that, especially when it's high end, take pictures. Your brother was just telling me. She just had a Posh and List last week. It was super dope.
Yeah.
Her brother, he sells high end, and he told me, take pictures of your high end before you put it in the box. The second thing is Poshmark does authenticate over $500. So if it is a higher brand item, and yeah, you want that $350 and things of that nature, just to be on the safe side, I would just go make sure you sell it for over $500 because Poshmark is authenticated. Now, if it is a higher price item and you don't want someone to damage it, like Linda, and the item you sold for about $350.
It was $350, and
She okay. Now for this case, because it seems as though the person got the item, they didn't want the item and they damaged the item. My suggestion for her is, although they won the case, when you get the item back, take pictures of the item, email Poshmark. Do not let them just say, okay, whatever, here's your item. Even if they try to give you a $5 credit. If you are consistent and persistent, they will see that, oh, this person is really, they're being honest, and 9 times out of 10, although the seller is going, the buyer is gone and they've gotten their money, they'll reimburse you as well. I can say that a lot of people get mad and they'll say, oh, the person damaged my item and Poshmark sided with them. Well, this is where it's up to you to take it a step further to say, no, I have proof. So in Linda's case, she took pictures before she sent the item, which is really good. And when she gets the item back, she's going to take the pictures and she's going to be consistent with staying on top. And I know we all get annoyed with Poshmark's technical support and trying to reach them through the email system. But I can say, even though it's super annoying and it might feel like they're going to take forever to answer you, just keep being consistent and keep emailing them, and you will, because it's going to show it on their end that this person is really having a problem, this person is really having a problem, they're saying the same thing, and you'll win.
So also, you want to go to the buyer's bio, because people talk on the bio as well. So if you go to their thing, you can see, oh, this person is problematic. Because this person might be,
Or have a lot of people saying, you know, but and also
this person did that.
the length of time they've been on. I'm very leery. The 2 instances that I had that really gave me question marks, it was like the month of, like they had just joined. Now that doesn't mean that the person's going to be a bad buyer, but when you know, over time you see the questions, the line of questions, you know, the ones that don't make a lot of sense. Like, okay, it's fair to ask for measurements. It's fair to ask if it's been worn. But to make me go and try something on that I might not, you know, or to, you know, you can kind of, you start to get a gauge for it. Usually, unless that person buys it flat out, I'm not even dealing with the offer and the counter offer, because that's the next level that lets you know you might have a problem. Them just offering or making an offer is not the issue, but when you have this constant like trail of weird questions and then offer, counter offer, and offer, counter, and they're not, and then you counter something that's reasonable and they don't do anything, it's not worth the trouble. I'd rather leave it on. And a lot of times after that, somebody comes and buys it for full price.
Right, exactly.
I had I'm new to Poshmark, and I posted a Fendi bag, and somebody replied. They wanted me to send the details to his wife's email.
No,
Scam,
that
spam.
is a scam. Anytime someone says you want to flag it as a scam, and anytime someone send pictures to my phone or email, it's a scam. Also, this has happened before, and I don't know if it's happened to other people. You might have a really expensive in your item in your closet, and it sells. Boom, and you're happy, and you wait the 3 hours, and you go put it in the mail, and then you get an email from Poshmark saying that item has been canceled. What am I going to do? I've already sent this item. That's also a scam. So it's not a scam on Poshmark's side. What happens is people are stealing credit cards, and they're trying to order high-end things. So it might take Poshmark a day, or it might take them a couple of hours to pick it up. But I've gotten around this as well. if you say, and it shows that the item is tracking, you're still gonna get reimbursed. My friend, he had a watch that was $500 that as soon as that 3 hours was over, he put it in the mill, and then Poshmark was like, no, don't sip it. And then Poshmark, within a day or two, they did give him the money back.
Is that a turnaround time, like for mailing?
Yes. If someone sends, for my new Poshers, if someone sends you an offer or someone buys something, wait 3 hours. They have 3 hours to cancel the item. Don't get excited. Someone bought this item and throw it in the mail, because if you throw it in the mail and they cancel that item in 2.5 hours, you eat that cost. Anything after 3 hours.
Because you're gonna have to wait till the money hits your PayPal or.
Oh,
Right,
the
so
money
that's-
doesn't hit
this
until
isn't-
they actually get it. Like
Only
it's
eBay does that.
Poshmark gets the money and holds
It's
it.
not like eBay.
But once so it mails out. It takes however long it takes to get to them. They still have to accept it. So most buyers are excellent. They get their mail, they open it, they check it, they click accept. They may even give you a rating. Don't worry about the ratings either. But as long as they hit accept, you get your money. Well, some will not. They get it. They'll drive you crazy about when you're going to send it. They get it, and then they don't do
3
anything.
days.
So you have to wait 3 days. But after the 3rd day, your funds are automatically released to you if the case is not over. So it's, I mean, in that regard, it's honest in that regard. And I mean, no matter where you're selling, who you're selling to, there's always potential for scam. But you want to make sure that everything you're doing on your end kind of minimizes it. Take that 3 hours to inspect your item to make sure you're not sending out that you didn't miss a stain or a hole in the thing.
And if you did see a stain that you didn't pick up before, just send them a note. You'll get your money quicker, and you'll get a better rating. Just being honest. Being honest, like I have sold. Starting off, I have sold some BS for crazy prices just because I was honest. People would rather, they bangs with you if you're honest in the long run. All right, so we'll do another chit chat in about an hour if you guys are still around. Please have some more treats. This whole room is half off. Now outside of this room, I don't know if y'all went, definitely go check that out. All the bottoms,
Well, they
all the
might not-
bottoms are $2 still. The items, yes. So all the skirts, all the dresses, all the pants, doesn't matter if it's a state, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is over there is $2, and kids is $1. So let's get to sourcing, y'all. Let me see some of them yummy gummies. Yes, that doesn't.